What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about Social Security, and the reason for this is pretty simple. There's more and more lawmakers that are discussing Social Security, potential increases, changes, just Social Security reform in general. And the reason why they're doing this is simple. We have 10 years left before the Social Security Trust becomes insolvent. That's a major problem. But we are now starting to see more reports coming out that the Social Security Trust, if we wait even 4 or 5 years to see any type of reform, it's going to cause panic. It's going to cause Congress to pass legislation that they will not want to pass, all because they know they're coming down to the wire. It's getting closer. So what does this mean? Well, what this means as of right now is that the expectation is that Congress is going to step up. They're going to do something within the next year. Okay. What we keep on hearing is that they want to do something in the next year. Now, the reason for this and doing it right before a presidential election, a big election, is simple. Democrats want to do some type of bipartisan bill so that they can tell their constituents, hey, look what we did. Republicans want to do something bipartisan so that they can tell their constituents, hey, we do not want cuts. We want to ensure Social Security remains solvent for the foreseeable future, not just for the next 10 years. So that's what they're discussing. So the biggest question right now is, what is this going to look like? Well, here's where things are going to start to get a little complicated. We know the White House, and I addressed this the other day as well. The White House wants to pass these child tax credit enhancements, which means it's $3,600 per year per child. Now, whether or not this is going to be a monthly payment, something that gets broken down to $300 per month, we don't know, because that does cost a little bit extra money, because those payments have to be sent out if they are done by mail every single month, which costs a little bit of money, especially for millions and millions of people. But that's still on the table, because what they're putting that up against is the Trump tax cuts. And that's a big question mark as well, because Republicans, even though they're pushing the Trump tax cuts, you haven't heard much about them lately. And it's because those don't expire until 2025. So the expectation there is that bill is going to be put to the floor some point in 2024. Remember what I said. Social Security is going to see some type of change or reform within the next year. The reason is because Democrats or Republicans, whoever has the majority in the next year, once this next presidential election is over, if it's a Republican president, a Democratic president, we don't know. What we do know is neither party, because both parties have had all the power in the world to do things, especially Democrats over the past, not over the past 2 years, but prior to that, Democrats held the majority in the Senate, the House, and the presidency. They had all three. They could have passed whatever they wanted to. However, they didn't. And that's the reason why some are saying that it has to be a bipartisan bill. Just keep in mind, though, and this is a big thing, being that right now the child tax credits are on the table, the Trump tax cuts have to be enhanced or extended before January 1st, 2025, so a little bit over a year away. All these things have to happen, but at the same time, Social Security needs to be addressed too, because what is going to happen, and this is where the concern is, and this is why Social Security is one of those things that people are concerned about, is what happens if Democrats win the majority, win the House back, they still have control of the Senate, and President Biden or another Democrat wins the presidential election. They have all three. They have all the power in the world. But if they don't want to do something because they're worried that, well, what if it fails and now all the fingers will be pointing at us? Well, then they're looking at that, well, okay, well, we have all the power right now, so we don't want to pass anything, so we're going to wait an additional 2 years till Republicans maybe have some power in the House or the Senate. right? And so that puts us 3 years away from today, which that means that's 7 years closer to seeing Social Security become insolvent. Now, could Republicans and Democrats come together over the next, 3, 4, 5 years and pass a bipartisan bill? Absolutely they could. But will they? History tells us no, that Republicans and Democrats will not come together. They will not pass a bipartisan bill. It would be a struggle. So, here's where things are at right now. What we continue to hear is that we have to see an increase in taxes for Social Security. This means that the Social Security tax cap, which as of right now is $160,200, this will be increased to $168,000, I believe $600. Okay, so an increase of $8,400 in the next year. So that's based off the cost of living. Okay, that's a cost of living adjustment there. But because of inflation. That's the only reason that's increasing. But the reason why others are saying we have to see an increase and we need to see this immediately is simple. If we don't see an increase from that Social Security tax cap, then, and that's only one piece, then we will not have enough to keep Social Security's trust solvent. So that's one part. The next part is there's a high likelihood that we're going to increase the full retirement age. So don't expect it to be 67 years old over the next 30 years. Expect that people that are in their 20s and 30s, your full retirement age will possibly be 68, 69 years old. And according to reports, for every single year that the full retirement age goes up, you lose about a 7% lifetime benefit. Keep that in mind. And again, that is not Republicans that are pushing for this 7% lifetime benefit. That is according to a bipartisan, just a group. Okay, they're not affiliated with either party, and they're telling us that both parties at this point, if they just wait and delay, they're both accepting of the fact that Social Security will see cuts, and that is something that we need to be prepared for. That is something that we need to watch out for. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to tell you regarding Social Security. Right now, there are still states out there and cities as well that have a boatload of stimulus. They have billions of dollars in unspent funding from this COVID pandemic. That funding has to be spent by, I believe, January 1st, 2025. So at the same time where all these talks of, well, we need to increase Social Security, we need to do this, we need to do that, guess what? Everything is going to come to this stopping point on January 1st, 2025. And if all the billions of dollars in unspent COVID funding is still within the state, still within the cities, the Federal Reserve will demand that money back. Okay? So just be aware that right now there's conversations being had that we could see a lot of this stimulus funding come to the people that need it. Those people are families, children, and obviously seniors. So I was getting more information as to what is going on there. I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.